The experience with the cockroach, you're there lying on the floor, and then what happens?
The mind hit. The mind hit. And in that moment, I saw that what I was believing, what I was being hit with was not true for me.
Wow.
Because I had just had the experience that it wasn't. And then in that moment, the world instantly happened. There were walls and ceilings and sky and floor and bed.
And you saw everything differently.
Everything differently.
What is it that you absolutely realized, Katie, in that awakening moment on that floor? What is it that you absolutely realized that you could clarify for our listeners?
That I am whatever I believe me to be. And then when you question that, Oprah, it doesn't leave much. If it leaves anything at all, for me, it's gratitude and how can I help? It's gratitude and surface. And
okay, but if you are whatever you believe yourself to be, then why couldn't you be also the depressed person, the person who isn't good enough, the person who's never made it, the person who's not loved by her children, the person who's not been received by...
Because I can't believe the thoughts that are happening that tell me that. If someone said, Katie, you're worthless, you know, I realize how painful it is to believe that about someone, yourself or anyone. So if someone says, Katie, I don't care about you, I just think, I hope they do better. I know how painful that is. To see another human being as less than you see yourself.
Okay.
And if someone says, Katie, I love you, I think, oh my goodness, isn't that person doing well? They love. And that's the highest standard for a balanced mind.
Did you question your sanity at all? Did you think, whoa? Because I would think...
My family did, but I knew what insanity was, and I knew I frightened people with this awakening, and so I continued to learn balance.
So you immediately started counseling people then? Because who knew? Because you've been this depressed, agoraphobic all this time. So why is anybody now coming to your door?
Well, it was such a radical experience. It was such a change that even my children didn't recognize me. So word of mouth happened, and I didn't know what it was. So people called, and they said, can you help me? And I said, you know, I don't even know what this is, but what I can tell you is, you know, whatever it is, it's yours. And so actually people would come live with me. I thought maybe it was the air, the food, I had no idea what it was. I had to find references as I went along, and people gave me my references.
So the work is called an inquiry. You call it the inquiry. When you were down there lying with the cockroach, did the 4 questions come to you then?
It was automatic. I saw that nothing was true, and then I saw the mind hit, and I saw the mind believed it.
Okay.
And so that's...
Okay, say that again, slowly. You saw that nothing was true?
Yes. It's like nothing was true.
Nothing was true?
Nothing. No
Oh,
identification. Then the mind hit.
Yeah.
And I saw that the mind wasn't true. And I saw that people believed their thoughts, but it simply wasn't true for me. That doesn't mean that it's not true for them. So the work is 4 questions and a turnaround. So the first question, you're believing, for example...
Let me turn in my book to the questions. Please.
Okay.
Go ahead. No, you go ahead.
The first question is it true? For
Is
example,
it true?
For example, if I had the thought, he doesn't care about me.
Right.
The first question is it true? The second question, can I absolutely know that it's true he doesn't care about me? The third question, how do you react when you believe the thought he doesn't care about me?
Yeah.
Well, the whole world is born out of that. You know, maybe I become angry or I become sad.
Okay, so tell us how this worked with you first. You are feeling depressed, miserable, distraught, all those things that many people have felt.
Yes.
And the question comes, is it true? Well, I would think the answer would be for, many people who have felt this themselves, and almost anyone listening has, yeah, I am. I'm pretty miserable.
And that's an honest answer. And that's all that's required is the willingness to answer the questions. That's all. So the answer would be yes. And I say, can you absolutely know that it's true that you are worthless? And they might answer yes again. because the mind immediately is giving them all the proof and
Right.
all the images.
All right.
That's how the mind works.
Right. So yes,
So
I'm
the third,
worthless, and yes, I know I'm worthless.
yes, and
So
how
far,
do
I'm
you?
not doing so good.
Yeah, so far. And so the third question: how do you react when you believe the thought that you're worthless?
Oh,
And what
it makes me
happens?
feel even more worthless.
Yes, that your stomach could rotate.
Yes.
Tears could happen.
Yeah.
Depression happens.
Yes.
And we become unkind and we wonder what is the matter with us. I don't want to talk that way to people. I don't want to hurt people, and we're striking out. And then the mind, how do we react when we think that thought? The mind attacks. And then it comes back and attacks you, and then guilt happens.
Correct.
And so it is this swerve. And how do I react when I believed the thought? I compulsively overate. I drank. All these addictions kicked in. It's how we react when we believe these stressful thoughts. So then the fourth question: who would you be without that thought? And then just to sit and get still and don't change anything. And I invite all the listeners to just close their eyes and look at their life just the way they live it. At the market, at home, doing the dishes, whatever it is, going to work, walking, to look back at their life, only drop the thought. Who would you be without your story? Just to drop the thought and look at your life. And you see, like
yes, because in almost every situation, if not every situation, it's not what is happening, it's what we tell ourselves or the thoughts that we have about what's happening that make it whatever it is.
Yes.
That's right.
And we can have all kinds of thoughts about it. It's, do we believe them or not?
Right.
That's the key.
Yeah, right.
So then I invite people after those four questions.
May I read from just a page? I don't know the page. Oh, it's page 1. A few basic principles in loving what is you say, noticing when your thoughts argue with reality. The only time, the only time we suffer is when we believe a thought that argues with what is. When the mind is perfectly clear, what is what we want. And I wrote down, okay, what if someone is being really, really inappropriate? You're in a situation where something is happening and you don't want it to happen. You even go to the place where it's happening. I don't want it to happen. I'm not going to resist it. I'm going to accept what is, but it still isn't necessarily what you want.
Well, I would say change it. With all of your power, change it.
Okay.
Right here, right now, because that's the only opportunity you have.
Okay.
Right here, right now. So you change it. And if that doesn't work, then open your mind and see a higher way.
Okay.
Because it's got to be.
You also say, I'm a lover of what is, not because I'm a spiritual person, but because it hurts when I argue with reality.
Yes.
But I wonder if we take this approach, you say, when we stop opposing reality, action becomes simple, fluid, kind, and fearless.
Yes.
I'm thinking, though, if we don't oppose reality, when reality is something that we are opposed to, if we don't oppose it, how do we ever get anything done?
Reality is the story of a past.
Okay. How so?
And we can change the past now. Okay, so reality is... So on the discussion we've just had right now is the past.
It's over. Gone.
And it's reality.
Yeah.
So if something happened between us that we wanted to shift, we have the power to shift it now.
Right now.
Yes. And I've come to see that defense is the first act of war. So if I attempt to shift,
defense is the first act of war. So the moment you start to defend, you put yourself in a position of creating war.
And who did it? I did. The moment I defended. Okay. So we can discuss any shift, or I can discuss any shift. Like I can give you my experience, I can give you my education, my educated view, if one happens to be there on the topic, and that's all I've got. That's what I've got. My wisdom, my experience.
Is that to say then nothing is worthy of defense? Lots of things are worth defending.
Defense is war. And I say all war belongs on paper. That's where it belongs, so we can look at it and question those thoughts we're believing.
Okay, I got it. I just got the shift in because I was thinking when you said that, I'm working on this whole program to really shift the way our country looks at child abuse. And I was thinking, I'm defending the children. And even as you said that, I realized I'm really not trying to defend the children. I'm trying to protect them, which is different.
Yes, and you're educating us.
Shift.
And you're
shift,
educating
shift. I just
them.
had a shift. And that if I try to defend them, that I will end up being a part of the war.
Of the problem.
The problem, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. I can't have a war against anything.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's how wars began.
Yeah, okay, I got it.
I'm going to defend my point of view. You got it.
I got that. So I want to actually do the work with you. But the other thing that I love that you present early on in Loving What Is about the three businesses. You say there's your business, there's everybody else's business, and there's God's business.
Yes.
And I just wanted to share that with you, the listener out there, because if you just get that, if you just got that from today's conversation, you could really, really tend to your business and leave other people's business alone.
So powerful. Can you imagine if we all took care of our business?
You just did your business. This is so interesting because there was something going on recently, and my girlfriend Gail said, "You need to call up this person and you need to talk to them," and I got pulled into it, and I did, and I'm on the phone and I'm telling this person what they should be doing, and just as I hung up the phone, I thought, this is going to come back to me, and it's not going to be good, and it's not going to be good because I now am in somebody else's business. I should stay in my own business and tend to, because that's the only business I have any control over.
That's right.
So there's your business, everybody else's business, and God's business.
Yes. And if anyone feels lonely, separate, then ask yourself mentally, whose business are you in? And it can just bring you right back to where you really are. And that's where the change can take place.
You say staying in your own business. I can find only 3 kinds of business in the universe: mine, yours, and God's. When I'm worried about earthquakes, floods, war, or when I will die, I'm in God's business. Do I know what's right for me? That is my only business. Let me work with that before I try to solve your problems for you.
And isn't that a full-time job?
That's a full-time job, just to stay in your own business. All right, that's our message for today. Stay in your own business and out of other people's business.
Mentally.
Yeah. Loving What Is. Byron Katie, come back, would you?
And
we're going to put the work to work with me and with you who are listening. You're listening to my Soul series on Oprah and Friends. Thanks for joining us. Fascinating. The Work by Byron Katie. I hope you enjoyed this edition of our Soul series. These are some of my favorite conversations.
To hear more, sign up for a free 30-day XM Radio trial by going to www.xmradio.com/Oprah.